Welcome back. Let's go back to one of our top stories today, of course, looking at the Zimbabwe elections. We know that the voting has been extended by 12 hours because of the delays we saw in the voting processes for today. But for more on this, we're now joined by Farai Maguwu. He is the Executive Director for Center for Natural Resource Governance in Zimbabwe, and he joins us via our phone line. Farai, thank you so much for joining us here on the late edition. Perhaps let's start off, with the reports we are seeing from Zimbabwe. And of course, those are the delays in the voting process. How did the voting go so far in Zimbabwe?
Thank you so much. It was very awkward. It was a very long and frustrating day, especially for the urban voters, which are perceived to be the opposition strongholds. Most of the people got up very early, around 4 a.m. People were going to vote. But to their surprise, most of them spent the whole day waiting for ballot papers to come. And in some politics at 7 p.m., 8 p.m. in the evening. So most of the voters are very frustrated.
Sorry, you can continue.
So most of the voters are very, very frustrated. They are very angry. There is deep suspicion that this was deliberate, given that polling stations which are far away from Harare in remote areas received their ballot papers way on time. But polling stations which are a stone throw away from the printing press are the ones which could not receive the ballot papers throughout the day until it was late into the evening. So it was a very long and frustrating day, largely for the urban and peri-urban voters.
And of course, Farai, that then brings into question the credibility of these elections. From your analysis, what do you make of the credibility of these elections now that we are seeing that the voting process has been extended?
Well, I think even before we talk about the outcome of the election, the process itself lacks credibility. ZEC has got a lot of explaining to do as to why it failed to get the ballot papers to polling stations which are close to ZEC offices than those which are far away. So many voters are very suspicious that the delay was deliberate. And now that we are told the president has issued a proclamation to extend the voting to tomorrow, many people are very doubtful that the process is going to be professional and according to the law during the night. So there is a lot of suspicion that the extension into the night is actually to allow for a lot of shenanigans which will prejudice, especially the opposition, whose strongholds have been affected by these delays.
Are you saying that Zimbabweans don't trust that, the extension of the voting process is, of course, in the favor of the people of Zimbabwe?
Yes, actually there is deep suspicion. Zimbabwe Electoral Commission is not very trusted by the voters. And so, like I said earlier on, there is no plausible explanation for the failure to deliver ballots during the day. So people are very worried that ZEC is compromised and other state institutions which are also involved in the running of elections are also treated with deep suspicion by the voters. There are fears that people are going to be bussed through the night to go and vote in those polling stations where there was an extension. There are also concerns that voters are frustrated and may have to leave and go home. There are also security concerns, especially for the agents of the opposition parties
And Farai, one would also ask, now that you see and, people are questioning the credibility of these elections, we always ask, were these elections free and fair according to you and what you're telling us now? Farai, are you still there? All right, it seems as if we have lost Farai there. He was giving us an update on the situation in Zimbabwe. Of course, many questioning the processes that have been taken in Zimbabwe. Of course, with the extension of the voting process that has been extended by at least 12 hours. And Farai saying that some people are even questioning, that some people can even be busted in the night to vote on the behalf of those who are on the voters' roll.